So the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, or LCCI, today provided a briefing on the state of the Nigerian economy, recent policies and actions of the government, including the 2023 general elections and their impact on the country. Let's take an excerpt from the presentation made by the president of the chamber, Michael Olawale Cole.
All the necessary infrastructure should be put in place for a truly cashless economy and reduce the tendency to hold cash. We all know during the hard times when there was no money around, people fell back to transfer. There was pressure on that system. That system was not made for that pressure it was facing. What happened? Most transfers were failing. And that caused trouble in many places. In hotels, restaurants, supermarkets, transport places, airlines, everywhere, there was trouble. You can't get cash to buy, you can't transfer. What then do you do? And that stalled business. And I think the chamber should do a research as to what we have actually lost in that process. Just for the future, to let government know. So that when we are planning things, we must do it with a lot of caution and a lot of plan to ensure that it will work and avoid this frustration that I've passed through. The government, being the biggest spender, should establish a cashless payment for its own procurement. This can also be supported by more automation of government activities that require payment for services by the public by cash, with more automation and less human interface. This will reduce corruption. It also makes things be fast. As people to queue to go and pay 1,000 naira. We commend the federal government's planned policy that all payments from the public treasury beyond the threshold approved for daily cash limit by the Central Bank of Nigeria must be done electronically with effect from March 1 this year. The implementation of this policy and the strict monitoring of it can be very effective in deepening a cashless economy. I want to commend Mr. President. He means well in most things he has done. But the trouble has been implementation by people who are put in charge. And that's why it's easy to criticize those who are in government. Then when you get in there, you now know it's a different ball game. Therefore, the president is one person. He has ministers, he has people, he has people in the civil service. They all must do their job. This cashless plan of government, the policy of government, cannot happen by government just saying it. It will happen by you, by all of us, cooperating to make them work for implementation. That's when the country can move forward. So we'll keep carrying, we'll stop carrying cash over the whole place. You know the risk attached to carrying cash. The chamber want to speak for a few seconds on the 2023 general elections and its fallout. This is a concern because if things go on well, the economy of the country will stand strong. If things are done wrongly, we'll get to a state of violence, instability, the economy will be in trouble. And that's our interest. We don't want that to happen. We want to say here that while Nigeria's presidential and National Assembly elections held 25th of February 2023, gubernatorial and state assemblies 18th of March, the president-elect has been announced, as well as the winners of the National Assembly elections, equally announced. Virtually all of the 28 states governors with their legislatures have been announced. The ruling party won the majority of these states. There were noted challenges, most importantly around the workability of the beavers. We also know the issue of insecurity and authenticity of results, among others. There is a need to ensure that in future all elections are peaceful, free, fair, orderly, and credible. We're not saying that other countries are perfect. There's no perfection in nature. But we all know in most countries they are doing election, they don't even know they are doing election. People just go to work, do it online, and they are working. They don't declare holidays for election. It's hardly done anywhere in the world. In the developed economies. In America, in Europe, elections are happening and people are in their office, do their normal business. Can you imagine how much time we have lost? What the economy has lost. Those times we have been busy fighting ourselves and creating problems because we want to elect our officers. We don't need that. There is need to ensure that in future we get against this. Furthermore, there's also a need for massive enlightenment campaigns against thuggery, violence, and security breaches. Election managers should henceforth engage constructively with all critical stakeholders, including traditional communities, civil societies, media, and security agencies. Insecurity, thuggery, violence, and lack of real-time transmission of election results from all the polling units should be discouraged. The authorities need to prove to Nigerians that they are fully prepared for elections as a way of boosting their confidence and integrity of the process and getting their buy-in. I think going forward, the country should spend some time educating the masses. There should be serious enlightenment campaigns to go on long before the elections about how we should carry ourselves during this period to avoid all this trouble that we already passed through. And that must start from our elders, our leaders. Our leaders should show the example